Ile kitu ingine ilifanya tuwe hatukuwa na pesa hata kati.
You withdraw and apologize on that particular comment. Opportunity to explain beyond what you had said. Senator Mundigi, giving you the last warning. Apologize and withdraw. Rule you out of order. For the last time. And withdraw.
Nimesema nimeomba msamaha na kuondoa.
Thank you. Mr. Speaker, if that this House should do, just pass this bill. Even if there are a million amendments this bill is an admission of how in 2013 somebody came, not an amendment bill, in 2013 for the establishment of the Agricultural and Food Authority. And it passed. And it killed the... Mr. Speaker, we, with many members, especially Senator Vihiga, he appears to appreciate that there are gaps, but has passed this bill. Why? Mr. Speaker, we are re-establishing the period. Once you that is the beginning of recovery. You were busy in your law firm at that time, or probably at what happened is that some treasury mandarins started celebrating the money that was in the account of Kenya Sugar Board. They looked at Kenya Sugar Board, billions of shillings. Board, negative. And they wanted to sweep the money, and they did, and they did. In the process, they crippled 25% of Kenyans' population depends on this industry. Arithmetically, at the current population of 55 million Kenyans, to 14 were adversely affected. With that, 200,000 small-scale should change. The amount of poverty has visited in the sugar belt cannot be described. You go to Shivale Market, the once vibrant economy. You go to Hahunga in Mumias, down. You go to have closed down. Mumias is the same, just because of the failure of this parliament. Never failed. I therefore appeal to colleagues. You listen carefully to the contributions from senators from, and these are 12 counties across up to the border with. Mr. Speaker, as I thank the Chair for coming to Kakamega, I want Nandi, who is my neighbor, to this committee. They did an excellent them. I was in their meeting. They never lobbied. And farming is very important. I was first to the sticking issue of zoning of the task force. During the third stage, I would like to appeal to the adopt some of our proposals so that they become the proposals for to give it the weight that it would deserve. And further, because if you don't do it, zoning, which is supposed to kill, can also enslave to a factory in your zone, whether it pays you to appeal to the not, whether it pays you timelessly or harvest on time or not. And this is why we polish it. Mr. Speaker, the issue of zoning should also be so that the issue of way bridges must be addressed. We must make it, and if you go to Western, we have wide load, long trucks that carry harvest. This law, we want to you, so that should this mailer to haul cane long distances, a penalty as they cross from county. Mr. Speaker, of poaching of cane is the reason why I would like to support this bill, where it says should enjoy monopoly. His investment is more than 30% of the harvested in this country. Mr. Speaker, it is because of this greed of that you find that poaching cane from end to end. For purposes of enforcement, police under this act must be authorized poachers of cane from the heartland of cane, the county of Kakamega, of Kisumu, and the county of Bungoma. We know it. Yes, and county, so when I say it as a big brother. The Speaker, this law to speak to harvesting of cane. Why you had the center of Higa speak to the of factories that was there last year is because, Mr. Speaker, were engaged of premature cane. Act, we must make sure that harvest premature cane is, Mr. Speaker. And Mr. Speaker, we are speaking to pricing. Cane pricing is that it's every 3 months. You cannot do that. Pricing must be reviewed because sugar fluctuates on the national, on the regional, on the continental, and in the international market. So that we don't lose out. Personally, I know what I'm talking about. I'm a farmer. I grow cane in Kakamega. I supply to West Kenya. And it is usually very annoying. This week, you supply, we have not had reviews. You see, now, a better price. I therefore want to plead with them. You consider reducing from 3 months, 1 month. There is an animal in this country under the total and absolute control of the nation called importation of sugar. Whereas on the one hand is a necessity, but is killing our farmers. Mr. Speaker, how an imaginary sugar deficit is declared, then cheap import market, and it denies the local to enjoy a better price. I want to encourage the committee again at third reading, reckless behavior. We must tie down that any time of a deficit is made and the market for import sugar is opened, farmers must also enjoy and that importation. How? 100% of imported sugar out into the market, and 50% for private players is given outgrower institutions. Outgrowers company, Moko, Buko, West Kenya outgrower company, Sony Sugar outgrower company. The bottom line, the benefit of importation will be enjoyed by and also the local producers shared prosperity as envisioned and spirit of the Constitution of 10. Mr. Speaker, and I'll be specific later on, we are speaking to the issue of cess. A member and took it very lightly. He thought money was where the member was saying it was being given to members of party. In this act, the money, it is for of roads in the catchment, which is exactly what cess is supposed to do. Bill is well crafted to that extent. It is not by accident. The mover of this bill in the National Assembly is the Honorable for Navaholo in Kakamega, and in this House, Senator for Bungoma. It is because and we know where it pinches. Mr. Speaker, if we fix our sugar industry, our own source, because, Mr. Speaker, Mumia Sugar Company, potential of a turnover of 24 billion. Butali Sugar Company, billion. And West Kenya Sugar Company, 14 billion. Over automatically is going to shoot up. This was the origin of devolution. Economies of counties so that grow their own source revenue. I was in Kakamega, Mr. Speaker, last week. I said it is really going to be difficult to unlock economies. There's nothing inspiring about the sugar industry of Kakamega. Mr. Speaker, allow me to, I can see my time is flying away. I'll not speak too many clauses. To clause 38. Clause 38 is on sugar development levy. Clause, Mr. Chairman of the committee, please. You cannot succeed in the sugar farmer and without the miller. The money for sugar development levy, clause 6A, instead of giving 15% to the miller and 5% to the farmers, so that the miller gets 10%, farmer gets 10%. It is as simple. If the farmer gets discouraged, the miller cannot have. If the miller gets discouraged, the farmer will laugh. Let us give it the seriousness that it deserves. The final clause that I want to speak to, Mr. Speaker, not the final clause, the second, is clause number 58. It says the main objective shall be number 3, number C, ensure associated cane processing formula. The backbone of what I was talking about. If you don't adhere to it and you allow, they say because they have the money to influence meetings, end up being shortchanged. And finally, Mr. Speaker, which is speaking to representation, a grower in the private milling company. Senator Osoti missed it by a kilometer. The private miller are allowed to sit as directors on his own. He would share. It is like taking your goat and asking the person who is going to decide the price of the goat, the owner of the goat. So why we need that the owner of the goat, the sugar, to speak in Lubao market is because if he keeps quiet, 12,000 shillings can be sold for as little as 2,000. So this law, again, Chairman, I congratulate you. You've done Article 59. Mr. Speaker, I want to thank the new investor in Mumia. He has changed the shame on criminals to ban the nuclear scam. And we are going to come for you. Mumia Sugar close. I thank you and I support.
The Honorable Senator Koiti Andrew Mtata.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I thank you for the opportunity to address that bill should because one of the most important is to disengage from AFA so that we can confront on matters sugar without being disrupted from another crops, equally important. We shall be living up to the max, quite small and chew finely. AFA was a messy. It was too obese. Anything good for us. I thank the committee who found it appropriate to conduct public participation where we mobilized farmers from the county stakeholders across the region, participate and make contributions about the bill. However, much as we want to pass this, I have some reservations in own of cane. Tenant farming, whereby farmers become tenants on their own land, as millers own the sugar on land. We need to interrogate that issue and see what to ensure that a farmer is not reduced to a tenant of, and maybe require a deliberate move towards farmers' cooperatives in the sugar industry, so that, and whatever, most of them were used to steal money from the same farmers, and they mostly became agents of the miller. I would love a situation whereby the farmer grows the cane, they organize themselves into groups, they grow the cane, they own the cane, and when the cane is much, negotiate with the miller to say, I've got this much cane, tends to tenants on their own land is unacceptable. So the bill is not very strong on the demand that and begin producing more than just sugar from the raw product called. There's need for millers to invest in modern technology. Of course, they are making profits right now because they are farmer for the entire value of the sugar cane. Compelled to pay the farmer the value of the sugar cane, would close shop. So, I would also like to say that we'll push towards modernization of the sugar industry, also targeting the mill, so that the miller should pay the farmer for the array of products that are possible and have been achieved in other parts where we always compare ourselves to and wonder why and productive. Also, I fully agree with Senator Khalwale said that harvesting immature cane should be punished. Beyond that, what is mature cane? Is it cane that is 15 months old, 15 months old, or 20 months old? Done by the millers in this country, which demonstrate that the in this country is 20 months, because the last 4 months to grow almost at the age of about 16 months. It also rises, and it's a win-win situation. And of the cane, at what stage that the cane should not be abstract. That thing. The other thing that is this is a global issue in terms of agriculture in this country. Areas. The question of inputs. Cartels have infiltrated inputs. Having a discussion with my good friend, and Arab Menjo was walking me through agricultural, whatever it's called. Kenya farmers, it was called what? Thing. Yeah. Arab Menjo told me that in the colonial times, the government had organized, or the colonizers had organized themselves in such a way that all the production of seed through the what is now the ADC, they control and they made sure that the seed correct quality. So whatever thing that you're going to grow was the correct quality you are going to farm. Arab Menjo also informed me that I forget the name of this Kenya farmers. It was called, and then they could also ensure the quality of the inputs, so that here, where anybody can import fertilizer today, could not. The farmers controlled it, and then they controlled and what see of cartels. But when the AFC was Kenya Farmers Cooperative was destroyed, KFC was, thank you for the information, the great from my neighboring county, about court rather. So an arrangement needs to be made so that we can protect the farm players in the production of seed, production of other inputs. We should be thinking of these vast ADC lands, application centers for quality seed, because if industry is utilized, sugar cane of a certain age, they give the next farmer to grow and they propagate it that way. The seed, so that we know to what number or what number of ratoons can still be used as a seed. But I was feeling that the vast ADC lands, especially if you can control them, can be put to good use as for working in partnership with the centers to provide us with quality seed. So, those things looked is the environmental damage that sugarcane causes. Sugarcane farming is very, very, it is totally a dying lake. And the soils within the sugar, most of the soils have become too. In my own village, we have a beautiful swamp called Kakolite. The home of, this is an area where fish used to breed a lot, and then the fish would go drains. These swamps have been drained. There are now sugarcane plantations. No wonder there's no fish in Lake Victoria. factors. So we must also come up with has this thing about it that takes you out of the ecosystem, the ecosystem, so that it's an exploit. We must create a sugar that is sustainable in the sugar farming areas. Now, on the composition of the board, notice that we still have the question of